Please note, views and opinions expressed in the course of this program do not represent that of WOTV. Therefore, this channel is not liable to any legal action that may result from this program.
Ẹ kú dédé àsìkò yìí. Ẹ sì káàbọ̀ sórí ètò ọmọ Oòduà tó ń dé sójú ìwòran yín láti iléeṣẹ́ ìkànnì WOTV níbi tá a ti ń dábẹ́ ọdún tá a ti ń rọ̀ bí òwe. Bó jẹ́ pé ọba náà ló kó fórè fàkùkọ tiwa o. Ẹ kú bójú ọjọ́ ti rí báwo lọ́dọ̀ yín lọ́hùn. Ajé ti gbogbo ajẹ́ sọ́jà yín ti ta wàràwàrà torí pé tó dá mi lójú náà ni pé ọmọ ẹ̀ta ní kọ́kọ́ ta o kí gbogbo ọmọ ẹranko tó tà pátá. Àdúrà mi ni pé ajé àfilẹ̀ gbogbo wa sílé ògúngún sọ̀nùsọ̀ bòjá fọ̀dẹ̀dẹ́gbọ́ ṣe gbogbo àwa òkùnkùn ní báláyé fọwọ́ tayé gẹ́gẹ́ tó ètò ọ̀hún náà ló tún balẹ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ wàrà òjò sójú rẹ̀ yìí wá wùn mí kẹ́ bá wá pèrè fìdí àbẹ́ máa fìdí tí a pèrè mọ́lẹ̀ kákọ́ lágbàmì ètò tòní ká máa bá kíní ọ̀bọ̀ bá ti ṣe máa ń ṣe gẹ́gẹ́ bí ìṣe tiwa tẹ́tí mọ̀ wá mọ̀ lánàá kó tó dùn ní. Àdìgún olódodo ràwọ̀ yín náà rèé lórí ètò tòní bó bá ti wáyé gun ó máa ń yọ rẹ̀ ni bó bá ti yá yẹn tẹ̀lé mi ẹ̀já lọ lórí ètò tòní kájọ mọ bí kíní ọ̀hún kájọ mọ bó ti fẹ́ rí. Ẹ máa bá mi láìkì o ẹ dẹ̀ máa ṣíà kẹ́ ẹ máa bá mi subscribe ẹ jẹ́ kí wọ́n gbọ́ wa láké kí wọ́n gbọ́ wa lóko káwọn tó wá rògbò àga náà má bọ́ kí wọ́n bomi ọgbọ́n mu ń bẹ̀ torí pé ètò ọgbọ́n rèé níbẹ̀ náà láti jọ ń fúnra wa lómi ọgbọ́n mu ó ti yá ẹja tẹ̀síwájú lórí ètò tòní.
Now he's threatening me that my whole family will go down the same way my daughter went down.
No fewer than 25% have given eyewitness account, bordering on allegations of sexual assault, physical abuse, faked miracles and trauma alleged suffering in the hands of a late Nigerian pastor, Temitope Joshua, aka TB Joshua. BBC reports on Monday. Joshua, one of Africa's most influential religious leaders and richest pastors, had the world at his feet during his lifetime. He was the founder of the Synagogue Church of All Nations, a 12-storied building situated in the Ikotun area of Lagos State, where he lived alongside many of his followers. Joshua was popular for his miracles, which delivered people, followers and visitors of any ailment, ranging from cancer and HIV/AIDS to chronic migraines and blindness. The healings performed by Joshua caught the attention of a far-reach global audience among evangelical churches throughout Europe and Africa in the late 1990s and early 2000s. Many of his followers were drawn by his philanthropy, but most came for his so-called miracles. The clergy, born in 1963, died on Saturday, June 5, 2021, a week before his 58th birthday. The cause of his death was not revealed. However, a statement by the church said the clergyman spent his last moments on earth in the service of God. However, the BBC said it conducted a 2-year investigation in collaboration with an international media platform, Open Democracy, which involved more than 15 BBC journalists across 3 continents. The report stated that former insider estimated that Joshua made tens of millions of dollars from pilgrims and other money streams, fundraising, video sales, and stadium appearances abroad. The investigation centered around allegations of sexual assault, physical abuse, solitary confinement, and fake miracles, among others. More than 25 eyewitnesses and alleged victims from the UK, Nigeria, Ghana, USA, South Africa, and Germany have provided accounts of what it was like inside Joshua's compound, with the most recent experiences in 2019. Testimony from dozens of survivors suggests Joshua was abusing and raping young women from around the world several times a week for nearly 20 years, the report noted. One of the victims, who was part of the Disciples, an elite group of followers who served and lived with Joshua inside his compound, 21-year-old female Briton, Ray, gave a recount of her experience. She was at that time studying graphic design at a university in Brighton, UK in 2002. A close friend of Ray, Carla, recalled how they both traveled to Nigeria in search of a mysterious man who could seemingly heal people with his hands. He was a Christian pastor with a black beard and white robes. His name was TB Joshua. His followers called him the Prophet. Ray and Carla planned to visit this church, the Skoan, for just 1 week, but Ray never came home. She had moved into Joshua's compound. I left her there, says Carla, tears flowing freely. Never will I ever forgive myself for that. For me, it was like she died, but I couldn't grieve her, Carla revealed. Ray, in her account, stated that she was gay and thought being healed by Joshua would solve her predicament. She narrated, "I was gay and I didn't want to be," she says. "I thought, well, maybe this is the answer to my problems. Maybe this man can straighten me out. Like if he prays for me, I won't be gay anymore." Ray described the moment she stepped foot into the synagogue, saying, "I had a really involuntary reaction. I just broke down in floods of tears." She stated that at that point, Joshua singled her out to become a disciple. She had thought the clergyman would cure her sexuality and learn under his tutelage, but to her imagination, her thoughts never materialized. "We all thought we were in heaven, but we were in hell," adding, "and in hell terrible things happen." Ray narrated how she went through psychological trauma for 2 years, during which she was forbidden from leaving the compound, and nobody inside was allowed to talk to her, adding that she attempted to commit suicide 5 times. Many of the victims said it happened frequently, as much as 2 to 4 times a week, for the duration of their time in the compound. Some described which left them struggling to breathe or bleeding. Many believed they were the only ones being assaulted and did not dare share what was happening to them with other disciples, as they were all encouraged to report on each other. Ray noted that it's extremely difficult to understand how somebody can go through psychological abuse to the extent that they lose their critical thinking. "I was basically in total isolation. I had a complete breakdown. I tried to commit suicide 5 times, she said. After spending 12 years inside Joshua's compound, Ray returned to England. She said slipping away from the disciples while traveling with the church on a tour to Mexico, stating, "He made a huge mistake. He lost control of me." Ray stated that it was only after she left that she realized that her family and friends had been sending her emails. She had never received them. "On the outside, I look normal, but I'm not. This story is like a horror story. It's like something you watch in fiction, but it's true," Ray said, while she recalls the tragic trauma and the impact it had on her. She expressed her disappointment that Joshua didn't wait to face the consequences of the atrocities he had committed before his death. TB Joshua dying before facing justice for the atrocities he committed has been deeply frustrating. It's only adding to the gross sense of injustice felt by all of us as his victims, she noted. BBC stated that it contacted Skoan with the allegations in the investigation. They did not respond to them, but denied previous claims against Joshua. The church stated, "Making unfounded allegations against Prophet TB Joshua is not a new occurrence. None of the allegations was ever substantiated." The BBC stated that former followers had previously tried to speak out about abuse, but say they had been silenced or discredited by Skoan, while 2 said they were physically assaulted. When the BBC's African Eye was filming outside the church, a security guard shot above the heads of the crew after they refused to hand over their materials, the report noted. A Nigerian, Bisola, who was also a disciple, stated that she was raped multiple times by the late clergyman. Bisola, who spent 14 years inside the compound, added that she was asked to recruit virgin girls into the disciple fold under threat of violence.
TB Joshua asked me to find virgins for him.
TB Joshua asked me to recruit virgins for him so that he could bring them into the disciple fold and disvirgin them, she revealed. Bisola told the BBC that courting Westerners was a key tactic employed by Joshua. He used the white people to market his brand, she said. The report stated that many of the young people who left their home countries to meet Joshua in the early 2000s didn't pay for the ticket. It added that church groups across England raised funds to send pilgrims to Lagos to witness these miracles, and Joshua contributed scorn money himself. Senior former church insiders said this. Later, once the church was well established, Joshua charged high prices for pilgrims to come and stay. A broadcast journalist in Namibia, Jessica Kaimu, narrated that she was raped by Joshua at the age of 17 in the bathroom of his penthouse within weeks of her becoming a disciple. She stated that Joshua wasn't moved by her screams, saying, "I was screaming and he was whispering in my ears that I should stop acting like a baby. I was so traumatized, I couldn't cry." Kaimu noted that she was raped for 5 years throughout her stay as a disciple. A woman who craved anonymity stated that it happened to her twice before the age of 15. "It was so painful, it violated me. Words cannot properly express it. It scarred me for life," she said. The report noted that there were accounts by 4 of Joshua's male personal servants who were given the job of cleaning up the physical evidence of this abuse. "We'd never seen anything like that before," said a journalist who covers African religion, Solomon Ashoms, adding, "The mysteries that he had, the secrets that he carried, were what people followed." Another victim, Victoria, not a real name, stated that she spent more than 5 years in the compound, adding that some victims were often handpicked by Joshua from the church congregation. While recounting her ordeal, Victoria said she was picked out while attending the church Sunday school and says she was raped in Joshua's private quarters a few months later after her parents entrusted her into his care. She was later recruited as a resident disciple. Victoria said TB Joshua ordered some of his most trusted Nigerian disciples to help identify new victims, identifying the groups which was informally known as the fishing department. A former South African disciple, Shirley, narrated that she had 3 forced abortions in the church. Shirley said, "You are given a concoction to drink and you get sick, or they put these metal pieces in your vagina and they extract whatever, and you don't know whether they are accidentally pulling out your womb." The investigative report noted that the disciples served Joshua's every need, from massage to helping him dress and spray his perfume when he entered the room. They also placed plastic gloves on his hands so he could eat his food without touching a crumb. A man was regarded as TB Joshua's number 2 in the church, Agomo Paul, who left after 10 years in the compound, revealed that the whole miracle thing was scripted. "That guy was a genius. Everything he did was planned out," Paul stated. "A major part of this planning was the faking of the miracles," said Paul, which he noted he oversaw. He and other sources say that those cured had often been paid to perform or exaggerate their symptoms before their supposed healing took place. In some cases, they say people had been unknowingly drugged or given medicine to improve their conditions while at the church, and later persuaded to give testimonies about their recoveries. Others were falsely told they had tested positive for HIV/AIDS, and that, thanks to Joshua's ministrations, they had now become virus-free. Paul noted that TB Joshua wanted to control everybody, everything. What he was really scrambling for was the control of people's minds. The disciples said they were made to work without pay for long hours each day, running all aspects of the mega church. All say sleep deprivation was routine, with light left on in the dormitories at night, the report stated. The church, which is still in operation today, is led by his widow, Evelyn. In his lifetime, TB Joshua attracted dozens of politicians and celebrities to his church.
My daughter died in a place where I thought it's safe. Because the Bible said, bring your child in the way of the Lord. I made sure that they were always in church. I didn't know that I was taking them to church to be killed. That part I was not expecting. That part I was not expecting.
A South African mother, Mrs. Sonny, whose daughter died in Lagos State in September 2014, when a guest house at late Prophet Temitope Balogun Joshua's synagogue church collapsed, has narrated how the late cleric threatened her to remain silent or her family would be wiped off.
When we refused taking the money, he started threatening us.
I'm Prophet Joshua. I know you. I know who you are.
That's when he said, no, your daughter won't be happy if I don't take the money.
It's not that you are poor, but it's an obligation. Your daughter will not be happy. As soon rest in peace, she will not be happy.
He sent me these messages. It says, if you focus on what you have lost, you might lose everything. Now he's threatening me that my whole family will go down, the same way my daughter went down.
Mrs. Sonny, who lamented and regret how her daughter died in a place she thought would be a safe place for her, made the revelation in a now trending 3-part investigation by the BBC. Recall that a guest house of late Prophet Temitope Balogun Joshua, popularly known as TB Joshua Synagogue Church of All Nations, SCOAN, collapsed in September 2014 in Lagos and killed at least 115 members and worshippers, including 84 South Africans. Joshua died on June 5, 2021, but as part of its over 2 years investigation, the BBC interviewed over 30 former members and workers of the church who lamented their awful experiences in the church and how they lost their loved ones during the church collapse. They also lamented how the late televangelists and the church showed no remorse to the death of their loved ones, but gave some of them money in cash and asked them to be happy that their loved ones died in the house of God. Displaying her daughter's picture, the grieving mother, Mrs. Sonny, lamented that it was her daughter, Simlige Princess's first trip to synagogue, as she was looking forward to be there like everybody that she used to see on television. She still had our teddy bear in her room and told her siblings to make sure to take care of them. She was this perfectionist, she said. Mrs. Sonny said further that you see the miracles every day on television and you will be like, this can only be the hand of God. The guest house was said to be where about 99% of the guests Prophet Joshua had then lodged. Mrs. Sonny said while her daughter was in Lagos, I tried to call my daughter, tried to send an SMS, but there was no response. That was when I could not breathe. She lamented that when she asked for information, the church could not give her any information. Rather, they were asked to wait and pray. No phone call from synagogue. I couldn't sleep. You know, you are waiting for the next day. You are waiting for the phone call. It was Sunday afternoon. TB Joshua came. It was a live service. On television, they were showing us that the building was bombed. They were showing us aircraft. I heard from SCOAN after 5 days, and they said, we are afraid your daughter did not make it. My daughter died in a place where I thought is safe, because the Bible said, bring your child in the way of the Lord. I made sure that they were always at church. I did not know I was taking them to church to be killed. This is not what I was expecting. That part I was not expecting. Sonny said that TB Joshua's representatives came to her with money saying it was a gift, but when we refused taking the money, they started threatening us. He said, "Your daughter won't be happy if you don't take the money." He sent me these messages where he said, "If you focus on what you have lost, you might lose everything." He threatened me that my whole family will go down the same way my daughter went down. A former disciple of the church in the documentary said that she was in South Africa when she was called, and the instruction was that.
That's when Daddy called, and the instruction was I needed to assist in going around to these families within South Africa whose children, husbands, or wives had died at the building to go and give money, bags of money.
The former disciple said that it was scripted. Your relatives that have passed on are more privileged than you because they died in the house of the Lord. Or we gave families cash, no transfer. We will tell them, you must not speak to the media. You must say anything. Basically, we were silencing them. Social media is buzzing after the British Broadcasting Corporation's African Eye released a 3-part expose on the alleged secret lives of the late televangelist TB Joshua. The video titled Disciples, the Court of TB Joshua features testimonies from former disciples and church workers accusing the late prophet of manipulation and physical abuse. The investigation also examines the 2014 building collapse at the Synagogue Church of All Nations, owned by Joshua, which resulted in the death of at least 115 people. Here are 12 things we know about the late televangelist TB Joshua. 1. TB Joshua was born on June 12, 1963 in Ondo State, Nigeria. He was reported to have stayed 15 months in his mother's womb. 2. TB Joshua attended St. Stephen's Anglican Primary School and left secondary education after 1 year to work on a poultry farm. 3. He founded the Synagogue Church of All Nations, SCOAN, in 1987 with a few members. The church later expanded to have a large following within and outside Nigeria. 4. TB Joshua was a philanthropist. He started My People FC Football Club in 2009, adding youth development. He supported football players like Sani Emmanuel and Ogeyo Nazi, and financially backed WBO International Light Middleweight Boxing Champion King Davidson Eminogu. 5. Forbes reported TB Joshua as the third richest pastor in Nigeria in 2011, with an estimated net worth of $10 to $15 million. 6. TB Joshua was involved in a 2014 SCOAN guest house collapse that claimed at least 115 lives and faced criticisms from other clerics and the public regarding miracles in his church. 7. He had a massive social media presence with over 3.5 million Facebook fans. His YouTube channel, Emmanuel TV, had over 1 million subscribers. 8. He was said to have spent an estimated $20 million in education, healthcare, and rehabilitation for Niger Delta militants, supported relief efforts in Haiti earthquake in 2010 and Ecuador earthquake in 2016. 9. TB Joshua received the National Honor Officer of the Order of the Federal Republic, OFR, in 2008, recognized by the United Nations and awarded by various organizations for his humanitarian efforts. 10. TB Joshua, until his death, was married to Evelyn Joshua and has 3 children. 11. Prophet TB Joshua's last public words were watch and pray, and emphasize a life dedicated to Christ. And 12. TB Joshua died on June 5, 2021, after an evening service, with the cause of death undisclosed.
You see, in Nigeria, we like choosing our angels and our demons. Anybody we like, we make them angels. The ones we don't like, we demonize. Oh, I'm not saying I support TB Joshua, and I'm not saying there's no truth in what came out. But my question is, somebody says, shut up. Let me shut you up. Rapture, boom, out of my life. My question is, when this man was alive, why didn't you do the documentary? Wait till now they fear. I'm not saying you didn't do the thing, so. My question is, why did you wait after he died to come release the documentary? Because my problem is, I swear to God, if TB Joshua were just like the regular pastors, the way that they defend themselves, I would be against him. But you see, this man, all of them, this thing where they talk, now so many of them be, including your young pastors, including those jolly just comes. 95% of Nigerian pastors are like that. You know why? Because they are enabled by a slave doctrine. It's not them, it's the doctrine. A doctrine of guilt and fear will only create slaves. A doctrine of guilt and fear will only create slaves. I want to ask you a question. We all saw our very able, honorable minister. Person lay hand on them, declare, saying go be minister. That hand when lay, no fit tell you the character of the person where you lay hand on. The scriptures say, John chapter 6, when all the disciples abandoned Christ and they were left with only 12. And Peter said, and Christ looked at Peter and said, are you also going? And Peter said, where am I going to? Inside the 12, Christ then and there said, one is going to betray me. Christ, they know who they betray. Our pastors know they know. Because the gospel are washing and setting gospel. A prophetess got up, left all the work in the world, and decided to come and troll Daddy Freeze. She no see anything troll for my body. Say, I no fit satisfy my wife. As in, kilagbe. Waiting we carry, where you reach that. It just shows the decadence. Do you think if I want to reply a pastor, I will talk about do you know there's one pastor that insulted me, he no fit born picking. But I no go use him insult him. That's his personal life. They will descend to, there's nothing in this gospel. Let me tell you, I did tell my parents, so parents-in-law, you can take my children anywhere. You can take them to club, you can take them to the theater. I don't want to see them in church. Don't take my kids to church. Take them anywhere. If I leave my picking with you here, say carry and go church, that's the end. You don't go see my picking again. Because the problem is not the man, the problem is the system. Once you allow them to get into the system, once you enter into the system, you become a byproduct of the guilt and fear system. Look at the way your pastors are. They say that the free is the Antichrist. Meanwhile, your pastors are the ones disgracing themselves. I sit down like this, JJ. That the free is the Antichrist. That the free is the Antichrist. That the free is the Antichrist. And you are seeing them. I watched part of the documentary. One of the women said, is that her mother had cancer or she had cancer? Now, so she take enter the church. Some of you people are looking for miracles. Do you know why I preach against miracles so much? Because miracles are poisonous. You know that the priest preaches against miracles, which is actually one of the works Christ did. But you see, miracle is a very, very double-edged sword. It's a dangerous sword. You know why? Because the same miracle we Christ do, take win people, is going to be the same miracle the Antichrist will use to win people. Revelation chapter 13. Read it. Astounding miracles. Watch our service yesterday. I broke it down clearly. The moment you believe in miracles, you are a potential victim. From today onwards, anything will happen to your life, make it physical. Even if it sounds miraculous, find a physical location. It helps your brain. You see, your mind needs to be connected to your spirit. And your spirit needs to be connected to God. The moment you start tapping into this miraculous, you are a victim waiting to happen. Just the day that you will be vulnerable enough. One day, and let me tell you, you're a human being. Something would happen that would trigger your vulnerability. If you have opened that door, you can't close it back. Someone said, Jesus performed miracles. Yes, it was one of the signs of Christ. And it is also one of the signs of the Antichrist. Let me read it to you. I'm a scripture teacher. I studied Bible in original languages, Hebrew, Aramaic, Latin, and Greek. Not all this nonsense English that people are carrying around. The English Bible is if you ask me, it's a big fraud. A linguistical fraud. Listen to scripture. Revelation chapter 13. And the second beast performed great signs. He did astounding miracles, even making fire to flash down to the earth from the sky while everybody was watching. One of the signs of the Antichrist is not that Daddy Free is coming to preach against this church that is headless. Is Daddy Free's coming to, is the miracles and those who are seeking those miracles. Even in the book of Thessalonians, Second Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 9. The coming of the lawless one, the Antichrist, I'm reading from Amplified, is through the activity and the working of Satan and will be attended by great power with all sorts of pretended miracles and signs and delusive marvels, all of them lying wonders. All of a sudden, TB Joshua is the bad one. So please, who is the good one? Who is the good one? I am not saying I support what TB Joshua did. I'm glad an investigation is coming out. But you should realize that this man was hated while he was alive by people who are doing this same thing just because they are a little bit more polished and they are a little bit more educated. Even some of the young Nigerian pastors are seizing people's land in Abuja by force to build their churches. Don't you put your ears to the ground? The religious toxicity starts when you look at a man like you and call him a man of God. So what are you, a boy of God or a man of devil? Religion, the problem of religion is not TB Joshua. The problem of religion is you. The Western world woke up one day and said, we are not going to this church again. We are going to worship God by ourselves. We are going to find God. In fact, we're going to... And guess what? They love more. They care more. Their societies function better. One day I sat down with one of my aunties, and the auntie said, why are you telling people not to go on crossover service? Now I draw she auntie, sit down. You'll be going to church this year from January to 1. Mention one advantage of you that went and me that did not go. My auntie look at me like this, I look at her. We look at ourselves. Mention one advantage you have. You that you go to church every Sunday, and Daddy Freeze that preaches from his home. Give me one advantage you have over me. The problem is not TB Joshua. The problem is you. Every year there's a new manipulation. Every year there's a new scamming system. Every year there's a new problem being birthed by these people. You believe in testimonies, you are the problem. A white man, regular Oyinbo man, does not believe in this. And that's why you cannot use it to catch him. Let me tell you something. I have a rat trap downstairs. I have serious asin. You know what is asin? Those long-nosed shrews. Because the engine of my cars gets warm, they now sneak inside and they smell so badly. So I don't set trap. Nothing where I know you set trap. I said gum trap. I said electric trap. I said not. So the other day, I saw an egg that fell out of my pigeon's nest. So I used a broomstick to pull out the baby pigeon. Way down the rot. I just carry him with stick like that, go put him inside the trap. The first day, catch one. I throw away the ass inside dustbin. The thing shock him. The next day, the way down they come out maggot now, he catch another one. Do you know if I had put $100 in that trap will not catch any rat? If I put $100, we get value. That rat trap for not catch any rat. $100, oh. I'm not talking of my money. $100. Do you know why? Because rats don't know or value $100. These people sell testimonies and miracles. Once you have an appetite for miracles and testimonies, look at somebody beside you and tell them, once you have an appetite for miracles and testimonies, you will enter their trap. Once you have an appetite for miracles. Why do I keep my children away from the church system? Because I don't want them to develop an appetite for miracles. Ask anybody where they smoke cigar. The first time they carry cigar, can't give you, go they smell to you. Until you taste it. Once you taste it, you develop a liking for it. Before you know it, you go to use your money, go buy the cigar. That's exactly how it is. People that do not believe in miracles, people that do not believe in these testimonies, it is hard to catch them. You go to somebody's live, and the person tells you somebody that was born AA has now become AS. I mean, somebody that was born AS has now become AA. If you believe it, you are a candidate. You are a candidate. Watch what you believe. Watch what you believe. That's where the problem starts from. A woman came and gave a testimony. She said she called you to tell him about him picking wake pie. No evidence. She released a text message. Inside the text message, what was the contents? I forgot to pray with you. But you believe her. You are a candidate. You are a candidate. The problem starts with what you believe. And that is one reason why I love my Muslim brothers and sisters more. They don't sell miracles. The way they market it, God can do anything. But God is not going to do anything. Everything. The fact that he's doing it for you does not mean he will do it for anybody else. So you are careful with marrying your expectations with your reality. You are careful how you marry your expectations with your reality. Someone said, Daddy Freeze, do you believe in miracles? Oh yes, I believe. But the miracle is the last thing I believe in when I hear any story, including a story that sounds miraculous. I think of miracle last. Any story you tell me, I doubt. And that's a very important part of the ministry. I want to read some scriptures to you. John chapter 20 verse 27. To explain it, I'm going to read from verse 26. 8 days later, the disciples were together again, and this time Thomas was with them. The doors were locked, but suddenly, as before, Yahushua was standing among them. Peace be with you, he said. Then he said to Thomas, put your finger here and look at my hands. Put your hand into the wound in my side. Don't be faithless anymore. Believe. Believe. Then Thomas said, my Lord, my God, he exclaimed. Then Yahushua told him, you believe because you have seen me. Blessed are those who believe without seeing. Christ had to show himself to Thomas. We sell the narrative of Thomas as a bad narrative. Oh, the doubting Thomas. Oh, the doubting Thomas. Thomas no grew. That's why Christ had to put, not the rest of them believed. Thomas wanted proof. Thomas wanted proof. To the point where Christ had to show him the proof. If you go back to verse 25, John 20 verse 25. They told him, we have seen the Lord, but he replied, I won't believe it until I see the nail wounds in his hands. I put my finger into them and I place my hand into the wound in his side. Exactly what he asked to believe. Until I see, until I put my hand inside, until I put my finger inside the nail in the hand, and until I put my hand inside the side, I will not believe. And that narrative is taught as a bad narrative. Why didn't Christ curse him? Christ said those who believe without sin, they are blessed. But Christ never said Thomas was cursed. The reason why Christ was even angry with Thomas was because Thomas had witnessed Christ. What miracle have you witnessed in your life apart from the lie one where your brain will not charge reach? Think saying a miracle. I have said it. Raise Mohbad. If you cannot raise Mohbad, heal Mr. Ibu's leg. Anything short of that is nonsense. Anything short of that is nonsense. In today's world, Christ would rather you are like Thomas, who actually wants to see proof. And did Christ show him proof or not? Did Christ show him proof or not? Someone said, this man, miracle isn't magic. That's them. Look at his name. Jules Base 1. Jules Base 1, eh? There is so much space in your head that real estate development companies should start thinking of setting up estates in the vast emptiness in your head. And the problem, you see, let me tell you, your problem begins and ends with how you think. One day I woke up. I said I was not going to allow my parents to pray in Jesus' name over my life again. Someone said, Ezekiel ministry said miracle is real. Now miracle you take by benzo. Miracle is real. Miracle cannot not be real. Nobody you take the chop. Ezekiel, calm down. Miracle is real. Miracle is real. We brought you here one day, Ezekiel Ministries. We told you to pray for 3 people. You pray for Ada, you pray for Femi, and somebody else. Your prayer no work. Who remembers that day? They were all here. And that day here. Everything miracle, 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 miracle. If you have the miracle mindset, you are a candidate for anything where pastor won't use you to. Ezekiel Ministries, miracle is real, Abi. I will give you Jasmine's number. Jasmine will take you to Mr. Ebu. Go and pray and heal his leg. I will believe in miracles any day you do it. Once you are ready, Ezekiel, send me a message. I will send you Jasmine's number. Jasmine will take you to Mr. Ebu and you will pray and his leg will be normal again. And I will believe in you. Miracle, miracle, miracle. Those people that were caught by this TB Joshua, it was miracle they were looking for. Miracles are dangerous. Be like Thomas. Thomas challenged a resurrected Christ. He said, Baba, I want to see. And Christ gave him his hand and said, see. And Christ gave him his side and said, see. Jasmine said, Jasmine, me and you never talk. Ferguson Osagele sent me £5 from the UK and said, you have been vindicated by no effort of mine. Just by preaching the truth for years. You don't know what these people did to me. No pastor get any power over my life. In fact, as they try me, they hit them for head. Anything where they swing, come meet me, they boomerang, they knock them for head, gaga. So you know what they did? They started going one by one to places, blocking me, telling their people not to give me work again so I can starve. Oh, they did it. One of my sisters here that I've been hailing here, she used me to do MC. They used me, they used me do MC. They tell her, say, if she used Daddy Freeze do MC, they're not going to come her show. She was bold enough to use me, and they were bold enough not to show up for the show. I emceed an almost empty hall. She's right there saying fact. She's there. At the end of the day, have you not seen it? This thing where they tell you. Someone said they cut her off. As in, I don't want to bring her life because I don't want to damage her brand. Because she still has it. They said they cut her off till date. I was in Sheraton. I say Sheraton. Transcorp Hilton. I stayed 3 days in Transcorp Hilton in a suite with Madame. And we're always going to have breakfast. So as I did go chop dinner one night, me and Madame, one Nigerian pastor just showed up. They were now videoing him as he was going to go and eat the food that we are eating there normally. You carry video come. I just they look there and say, oh boy, now wow. Then the people who video am come. No chop with amu. They just do video. Only you can't go sit down for one corner. They can't serve the whole buffet. In can they chop. Those ones go wait for them outside. Meanwhile, if you are active in my church, whether you are rich or poor, if I know that you are active, if I'm doing something, even when I came to the UK, we still hosted people in that UK. Do you know how hard it is to change naira to pounds? We still hosted at least 20 people in the UK. Nobody, after church that day, nobody paid for their lunch. We took them to lunch. As our power reached, we bought everybody a meal and everybody ate the same thing. I did not eat anything special. They are all here. Buki Shote is here. There is nobody that is active in Free Nation Church, as in active, or even active in Daddy Free's life, that has not sat down to eat a meal with me. It's not possible. Now me go they find you. Ask Ada. Ask Mysticness. Ask Brother Shukbo. Naomi. When I went to the UK, I did not talk to Naomi for 1 month because Naomi did not show up. I wanted to see her. Have lunch with her. When Naomi calls me and starts talking about miraculous things, I tell Naomi, I understand that part of Christianity is believing in Christ's miracles. But I think the end is like when you use blood pressure medicine and you use a dose that is too high for you, your blood pressure will now go low and you can now faint. Same thing with blood sugar medicine. You can enter hypoglycemia, which means you don't have enough sugar in your blood. We have been overfed miracles. Everything is a miracle. You get a visa is a miracle. You don't get a visa, God hates you. You link everything. And do you know why this is so? Because that's the only way your pastor can plug in. The only way your pastor has access to your finances is through the door of spirituality. The more you doubt, they will tell you that Thomas is bad. If Thomas was bad, why didn't Christ castigate him? He said, you believe because you saw. Christ said, believe me. He has believed. He said, blessed are those who believe without sin. Does not mean that Thomas did not believe. To make heaven believe in Christ is all you need. Thomas believed. After seeing, he said, lie, you are not going to agree. I want to see his hand. And I want to see his side. And Christ showed him how many of your pastors have answered the many doubts that we have raised. You say what God cannot do does not exist. Mohbad is there in the mortuary. Osinachi is there in the mortuary. Your celebrities' children are there in the mortuaries. Sammy Okposo, a gospel musician, is there in the mortuary. Your Gio's son is there in the grave. You cannot raise any. And you are telling me what God cannot do does not exist. If I believe, God's supposed to slap me. One boy that we sent through school, we saw him through school. Brother Shukbo is here. If I lie, he will cut me. Sorry, he will catch me. No vex. I'll tell you two stories of two of the blind boys. One came and told us that his vision was about 40%. He had glaucoma. His vision was about 40%. At 40%, you can still see but blurry. They told him to get off his meds and he should believe in God. Today he's totally sightless. Brother Shukwa, you are here. If I lie, please, jam me. If you're watching on TikTok, double click the screen. Double click the screen. You go pop my money gun today. Because they dupe you steady. They give them your monthly salary. Pop my money gun, make TikTok, if you promote my channel, when I no go agree. Let me tell you the second one. His vision was 15%, almost totally gone. He went to a pastor. Pastor poured Goya oil inside his eye. That day, by that evening, his eyesight had reduced to 8%. Now he's also totally blind. And you are telling me that the belief system is not the problem. I was with PT in the UK. They were telling us a story of a guy who had ear problem. They now poured Goya oil inside his ear and put their hand inside and did like this and started praying. He's totally deaf now. PT said, very good. What was he using the ear to do before? Is it not to listen to the nonsense they are saying? He does not need ear. I say, PT, you are very harsh. He said, what does he need the ear for? What you are listening to carried you to go to where they will pour oil inside your ear. Daddy Freeze is crying. Daddy Freeze is shouting. Daddy Freeze is talking. But instead, you are looking for those that will say those things your itchy ears want to hear. They are pouring Goya oil inside your ear. Which day are you not going to be deaf? It has nothing to do with the pastors, but everything to do with the belief system. That day I look PT, I say, PT, wait. He said he does not need ear. What is he doing with ear? Is it not the ear? If he didn't have ear, would he be in that church in the first place? How you take hear the message? That nonsense message we ain't here. Now you carry and go there, go give them the ear. So they no can get ear again. Ask Brother Shupa, what our eye they see when we're running physical church in Cool FM. As in, you will see people, they will come and they will tell you what they, you see, you are talking of TB Joshua. There are people 10 times worse than TB Joshua that people are praising and following. There are churches that the pastors are paupers because they must remit everything to head office. Let me tell you, KFC, McDonald's are better than your churches because those people that run the franchise, at least they break a profit. One pastor climbed his pulpit because I dared question him. He called me a mad dog. He can't quote Bible to prove, say, that the free is na mad dog. All of Nagada under now listen. You are now telling me that I should come here and say something bad about TB Joshua. God forbid. May his soul rest in peace. TB Joshua only tapped into a gospel that has been spoiled from the ground from the time of Paul. Go and watch my teachings yesterday. I broke it down. This madness, it was Paul that brought it into the church. When they told Paul clearly, they gave Paul a letter and a delegation, and in the letter it was clearly said the church has come in complete agreement on the letter. They said, do not eat animal sacrifice to idols, do not eat blood, do not eat strangled animals, and stay away from immorality. Paul went to go and start teaching them that if you believe that the meat offered to idols is bad, then that means it is bad. But if it is not bad, is that what they told him to go and say? He said, if your conscience can carry it, do you know the kind of thing Nigerian people's conscience are carrying? Some of them are stealing money meant for one whole local government, and their conscience can carry it. One auntie, they say now humanitarian, may go do. Ministry of Humanitarian. Money of the lepers and the poor. They don't suspend the auntie now. Meanwhile, na church testimony carry a mental inside. As in, when are people going to have sense? When are people going to have sense? In the Free Nation, we teach you anything. When you ask Simplific is here. Simplific is one of the elders in the Free Nation Church. Well learned. You see, for me to say Simplific na elder, if I tell Simplific to teach you, una go turn atheist. Simplific self na smart. They pet and small for saying no. Just be calming down. No. If I allow Simplific teach you doctrine, hey. Simplific when eye don't open reach back. It simply get like 5 eye. One here. Now beg they take now palm, they take palm. Say calm down. No. If you teach them this one, they will run mad. Now you go tell this guy mumu things. As in a woman, you are saying no. You see. Now me the prophet. Oh, everybody was saying, oh, Tinubu, look at the man you want to put inside the office. He is so old. He is so this. I thank God I did not vote for him. I voted for Mohbad'sfather Showore. But the argument was he's so old, and I said something one day. I said the young people waiting to steal are worse than these old people that I think are wicked. These old people that people have in these offices are angels compared to these youths. I said it. God bless you almost. I said, you want a youth in Nigeria? No. I'd rather have an old thief that understands the system than a young thief that will just steal the system senselessly. You never do minister work. How many months? They don't catch you already. At least other people where they catch. If they reach like 3 years later. Person will never enter 40. I'm 10 years older than, that's just to show you, I'm 10 years older than this person. She's a proper youth. Oh, we don't want all these old people. We don't want all the meal. Any of those old people, whether it's Tinubu, whether it's Atiku, whether it's Obi, I prefer them to the youths. In fact, Buhari made a give them, make it a red, they do the way they do. He better these youths, Nigerian youths. Some of them were born deficient of a conscience. As if they check their body with see MRI, they no go see one conscience. If they do brain scan for them, if they do CT scan, they no go see any conscience for their whole body. And then their own is worse because as they go is God. You see, when you see all these our old thieves, you go no say they be ritualists, they be say that they put hand from these ones. Now God be their ritual. Any small thing like this, they will call God, God. Anywhere you go, they see them testimony here, testimony there. Youths, people where I senior. Our pastors too need to do better. When someone, you see, because you are so no. Acts chapter 8, Simon the sorcerer. When Simon the sorcerer went to meet Peter and said, this laying of hands, sell unto me, so that I go feel they use them, they give people the Holy Spirit. Peter said, perish with your money, because your heart is not right. You see, your pastors are so busy trying to sell testimonies because they know that there is a market for it. Let me ask you a question here. I want to ask you a question. Why in this Nigeria, as this Nigeria be, or in the UK, there are pubs on every street corner? Hello, UK people, pubs. There is a pub on every street corner in the UK. Am I lying? There is a pub in every street corner in the UK. Am I lying? Simply Vic, you are a Ukarian. Am I lying? Confirm. How many of those pubs sell palm wine? How many of those pubs sell palm wine? How many pubs sell palm wine? Why don't they sell palm wine? Let me explain it to you. Because there is no taste for it. There is no market for it. The reason why all your pastors sell testimonies. When was the last time you heard testimony in the Free Nation? We will do our testimony in our prayer group. We know they passed 30. In fact, we've not been up to 30 since we started it. Our prayer meeting. Forget this 1,300 where they watch. We know they passed 30. When we have a testimony, we share it inside our in-house. We don't bring it outside because I don't want you to follow Daddy Freeze because of testimony. The reason why there are no palm wine joints in the UK is because UK people don't drink palm wine. If you introduced it, nobody will buy it. You give them their Stella Artois. You give them their Beck's, Budweiser, the beers that they know, those are the ones that they serve and they give them. Neka Spiff wants to be added to the prayer group. Send Ada a message. Vidian Sodality, thank you so much. The reason why all your pastors are selling miracles, testimonies, signs, and wonders is because that's what you want to buy. If you enter a church and they don't sell miracles, signs, and wonders, you will leave. Why do you think the Catholic Church has started getting a charismatic branch? Why do you think the Catholic Church has started getting a charismatic branch? Because they are losing followers who are miracle seekers to the Pente people. Corona, God bless you. Any bar you go to, you will see Corona. There's the one that they will turn upside down. They will use it to make cocktail. You see the beer sticking out. They have a taste for it. You have developed a taste for miracles, unproven miracles. Illiterates will come and tell you about miracles. You are not used to verifying news. You are not used to verifying news. You are not taught to be a critical thinker. You are not taught to be a critical thinker. You are not raised to be a critical thinker. So what you are raised to be is a miracle seeker. I watched the videos with TB Joshua and I feel very sorry for the people who went through it. And in as much as I feel sorry for them, I also want to remind them. I say this all the time. Waiting they hungry you, now you don't find. One day a man came to meet my dad when we were younger and gave my dad an investment plan and said if my dad put 20,000 naira inside it, that time 20,000 naira was big money, that after 3 months he'll get 50,000 naira. My father slapped him. I can't look my papa that day say, Daddy, did they decide that you'll be poor for the rest of your life? My father slapped him and threw him out of his house. I can't weak. Me, where I don't they happy say, I want to ask if my papa put in 20,000 there. Me, I want sneak go meet the guy for back, say I get 200 naira. If I give you, if you help me increase them. The guy went downstairs to one of my neighbors. That one put 30,000 there. In only 2 months, my neighbor, they sit down for ground, put hand for head, they cry, say they don't dupe on. When he came to meet my father said, I'm not sorry for you. If you are not a thief, how would they turn 30,000 to 50,000 in 2 months? Which work does he want to do? The reason why I did not fall victim, because I knew he was a thief. He spoke to my greed, but my greed said no. Some of you are so greedy. You don't know when your greed is controlling your mind. Some of you, your greed has become need, and once again, it's the church. You can do it. The Lord can bless you. Yes, it can be done. Oh, we. Ha, ra, ra, ra. Hey, re, re, re. Then the next thing you are crying. The next one you are crying. They said when a hunter returns home from a hunt with a cow, just know that he stole it. A hunter that comes home from hunting with a cow is a thief. Cow no be wild animal. But you are not taught to identify thieves. You are taught to glorify them. You go to church, the people sitting on the front row are the people drinking the blood of this country. And then you will sit down. Just watch how pastors will use TB Joshua to preach now. And they wait for that pastor who will talk nonsense about TB Joshua. I'm not saying TB Joshua is a good person, but for them to now sit on their high horses and condemn him, when all of them are the same, or most of them are the same. Oh, le no mese o le to lori apata. It's only a thief that can follow the footprints of a thief on a rock. You know, say rock no get footprints. Make thief when they make person when they tell you say na hey waka on top rock. To be thief. Someone said I've made 300% profit in a single trade before. I have also made like that, but you cannot replicate it monthly. Someone says, shut up there. You self not the same. No problem. Since I'm the same, let me just rapture you. And that is where I end my message. Pop my money guns. I'm going to call Princess once I get off this live. Thank you all for listening. If you're watching on TikTok, double click the screen. My message for you today is, the problem is you. Stop thinking the way you think. Stop looking for miracles. Let me tell you, when a Nigerian man speaks of a miracle or what God has done for him, it makes the real God look jobless. I'll explain to you. You buy a Tokumbo car. Somebody bought a 2014 RAV4 and was giving glory to God and saying God did it. And I'm wondering, you don't forget, say that Toyota company, now one person get them. And the person does not believe in your God. So if I'm an atheist, I sit down and I see somebody will buy 2015 model, 10-year-old model of your car and saying it is God. And the person that owns the company does not believe in your God. Which would I believe is bigger? The owner of the company or your God? I'm not saying don't thank God even for the slightest things. But when you make God a God of mediocrity, you are here shouting, hey, oh God, God has done it, God has done it. And then you go to America, this thing that God has done for you, somebody born in America gets it free of charge. You get America visa to go and work like a slave. And then you come and start kneeling and start thanking God. Oh, God has done it. American picking where they're born. Say they're born them for America, finish. In don't senior you already. In don't senior you already. By default. So when you now go to testimony to church to give testimony of God giving you a visa, waiting person where they're born for Canada one talk. Without knowing, you are downgrading your God. But you see, God is the God of love. 1 John chapter 4 verse 8, he says, those who do not love do not know God. But when you give an act of love so big, even the Japanese are in awe. That's when you show that God is not by buying car and saying, I thank God. This
Secret
year,
lives.
when you want to give testimony to God, give testimony your acts of kindness. This year, I was able to feed 2,000 people. This year, I was able to pay salary to 50 widows. Through the glory of God, I was able to feed 20 widows. Somebody asked me, Daddy Freeze, how do you buy your car? I work hard, new. God blessed the work of my hands. God directed me and gave me revelation. And I worked hard. Start changing the color of your testimonies. To do away with materialism, but to highlight love more. You build a house and you say it is God. Then a man in Japan built a 50-story building and does not say it is God. There's nothing you have done that the Japanese have not done 20 times better. And they don't have, it's not God, they don't give it to God. So you are giving to God. You are making your God look worse than the Canadian government. Right now, if God said, come, walk with me, and Canadian government said, come, I'll give you citizenship, you will leave God and follow the Canadian government. All of you watching. So that's my message for you today. I'm not in any way happy with what's going on, and a lot of people are really affected by this TB Joshua. There's another TD one, we hear that one story. That one can't deny. I said, the way pastors have been embarrassed in the last 6 months is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Princess, are you sure you want to come live? But I'm worried. We have TB, we have TD. None of them good. Princess me.
Good
My
evening,
sister
bro.
ever. How far?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening.
I'm fine. No, you didn't bust our brain.
Hey.
Jesus.
I dey fear for you. Make
We
sure
know
come
if
and
you
no
pay
begin
you.
dey fight
We know if you pay you. We know if you pay you. We know. God bless you for us.
How are you doing?
God bless. I'm fine. No, I'm fine.
Congrats on the ceremony the other day.
Thank you. Thank you. I said, may everybody hold their receipt. Oh, we don't come back to reality.
Yes.
So everybody will spend.
Hey.
Thank you, sir. Thank
Nigeria.
you for all you do.
Thank
God bless
you.
you.
Thank
God bless
for all
you.
your love
God
and
bless
your
you.
support.
No.
Thank you so much.
Now we go say thank you. We're honored. We're blessed to have you, honestly.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir.
So much.
Thank you, sir.
And
Thank
take
you,
care.
sir.
God bless you. Happy New Year. I'm going to call you tomorrow.
Happy New Year. Okay,
And
sir.
I'll come and see you
Bye.
in your office. I know I've been saying this for 2 years, but now I will wear my clothes and come.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Take care,
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye, sir. Yes, sir.
That's my lovely sister, Princess. You don't know what she went through because of me. She do events, they no gree go. Because they say, it's either she drops me, and I was expecting her to drop me. I for no vex with her. I was expecting her to drop me. I said, okay. She said, Laila, we go together. I said, okay. Nigerian people. Anyway, she's growing and waxing strong, whether they like it or not. She will continue to fight, and she will continue to blossom. Amen.
Amen.
So that is all I have to say today. I'm going to come back in a few hours. We're going to just gist about other things. But this TB Joshua, as painful as it is, I'd like you to know that you are the cause, and until you stop thinking the way you are thinking, we can never move forward. Princess, somebody say,
sir?
Her children are grown like this.
Why you they cast me?
No, Princess.
Why you they cast me?
Everyone, let's see, fine girl. Is she fine? Is she single? Is she single? Is she single? Hey, Nigeria.
No single.
Not single in any way. Double, triple, children. 10 years from now, grandchildren. Bye.
tó ẹ káàbọ̀ ẹ kú àtàárọ̀ ẹ kú òtòtò ní ẹ rí pé tó ọ̀hún dùn ó lárin ni ó ní gbọ́ngbọ́n nú ẹ o bàbá ti ṣèlérí àwa la sọ̀rọ̀ ṣẹ a kì í ṣe àsọ̀rọ̀ dànù èyí tá a bá ti sọ fún yín dandan ni pé ká mú ṣẹ tó kò ní jù báyìí lọ o kì í pọ̀ kó dùn ṣókí báyìí òun náà lọ bẹ oge àmọ́ àwa làwa ò máa wá ẹ̀yin náà làwa ò máa bá ẹ má gbàgbé ẹ máa bá ń like ètò kẹ́ ẹ máa bá ń share o bákan náà ẹ máa bá ń subscribe ká lè jọ máa pọ̀ sí nítorí pé wọ́n ní ọmọ yọyọ ní nílé aládì tó títí wá dìgbà míì táwọn máa fojú níjú lórí ìkànnì Wo TV àdìgbò lódòdó ra wọ ni mò ń jẹ́ ìjípò ní mi ọmọ àdìtọ́ ọmọ adábọ̀ ọmọ alájẹkújẹ́ lọ́mọ àfọ̀gọ̀ sàárà kú mẹ́jẹ kú mẹ́rin kú ìjẹun tó ń ti ní bàbá tèmi lọ́mọ lẹ́gùn orí ọ̀tá ọmọ jẹ́jọ ń dágbére fún yín pé kásùn kájí láyọ̀ ire o.
Disclaimer. The information provided by the speaker or presenter on the Wo TV platform during this broadcast is for general informational purposes only. All information in this broadcast is provided in good faith. However, we make no representation or warranty of any kind, expressed or implied, regarding the accuracy, adequacy, validity, reliability, availability, or completeness of the information. The broadcaster of the channel may not and cannot be held accountable for the views, opinions, and comments made by callers during this broadcast. Wo TV is a contemporary Nigerian news and entertainment TV program born from the need to fuse the popular indigenous Yoruba culture into the growing entertainment industry of Nigeria and the rest of the world.